guys, sorry for the delay. Um, it's always something with my computer or something, the network, whatever. But I am here. So this is Rachel from the MPH Life LLC. In super chill mode, as you can see today. I'm just in, day off mode today. So, um, today I wanted to. Last time I talked about food to avoid. I started the food to avoid when you deal with food to avoid or minimize when you are dealing with arthritis or inflammation. The general food to avoid. And today um, is supposed to be the part two. However, I'm going to talk about diabetic nephropathy today. So let's jump at it. I'm not quite sure why Facebook is asking me to go live when I am live. So that's odd. Anyways, with that said, let me check something. Well, I don't know why it said that. I'm confused. But well, let me jump into the diabetic nephropathy today. And I decided to do that because of several questions I've had about it. So I figure let me do a quick live on it, to just put some general information out there for you guys. Those of you dealing with diabetic nephropathy or some kidney issues in regards to diabetic or even hypertension. So nephropathy really is a complication that often comes with diabetes or uncontrolled high blood pressure. And by diabetes, I also mean uncontrolled diabetes. Typically, it takes about 10 years of uncontrolled diabetes for this to manifest. However, if you've been horribly uncontrolled, it could manifest a bit sooner, okay? So it is something that really happens over time, very quietly, very slowly. You don't have symptoms, you don't know, but it typically follows uncontrolled diabetic. And what is happening is basically damage to the little thin vessels that filtrate our blood, right? The kidneys are responsible for filtrating, and sending back to our bloodstream what we need and getting rid of the rest through urine. So when those little tubules, they are very, very fine, network of little vessels, when they start getting injured, if I can put it that way, by way of too much of pressure with high blood pressure or too much sugar, the sugar particles in the blood, that's when you start dealing with nephropathy. Okay. Hi Gabby, welcome. If you have any question, leave it for me here and I will answer. So that's what it is. And the interesting thing is that nephropathy in general can happen from uncontrolled high blood pressure. Now, when you get nephropathy from diabetes, it actually will either cause high blood pressure. Most diabetic typically deal with blood pressure, so it will worsen blood pressure if you really are not taking care of this. So I wanted to come and just talk about, a couple things you want to do when you are a diabetic to kind of protect your kidneys or to help yourself. If you've been uncontrolled, like I said, for a long period of time, this is when this disease is certainly sure to walk in if you don't control. And not only that, if you don't keep an eye on your functions. This is why it is so important to keep up with your checkups, because once or even twice a year your doctor is going to check on your kidney function. There are tests we do by urine, by blood, to make sure your kidney are functioning, properly, or they are not giving signs of injury. Also, um, oh yeah, signs of injuries. There is that. Also, I mentioned about controlling your blood sugar, because that's the first thing, right? The nephropathy is happening from uncontrolled blood sugar. So as far as what can you do to help yourself from getting into that stage, this is one of the first thing you want to do. Try to control your blood pressure as good as possible. In parentheses, you ask, what are the signs of nephropathy? And like I say, it's typically without symptoms. It's very quiet until it's bad enough. Then it will manifest itself. That's when you are dealing with swelling in your legs. Yeah, you are dealing with swelling in your legs. You are tired. Typically, you are tired, and also you have issues with your appetite. That's 3 of the common symptoms that come with that. But one of the big signs is a swelling. When your kidneys are not working properly. Okay, so one way to try to prevent or even minimize or delay the occurrence as much as possible is by controlling your blood sugar. Okay, the other things you can do while you are trying to control the blood sugar, because blood sugar control doesn't happen overnight, and some of you are new diabetics still trying to figure out what to do, how to manage this. Do not freak out. Like I say, it's not something that happens over time. It builds, but you can do other things also on top of controlling your blood sugar. Hydration is a big deal. You want to stay hydrated. You want to help those kidneys stay hydrated, unless you have some kind of condition that demands what we call fluid restriction, meaning you can only drink so much fluids a day. You can only intake so much fluids a day. If you are not dealing with that, staying hydrated is one of the best things you can do for yourself. And it's summertime right now. I know the heat wave has moved to other states, but it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. You are losing more and more and more electrolytes quickly, especially when outside. So be mindful of that. Okay. Another thing you can do is avoid food and even supplement. Let me stick with the food first. Is avoid food that not avoid, control the amount of food that can mess up with your electrolytes level. One very common example, one that always has me discussing with folks, is bananas. Somebody dealing with a kidney issue that eats a lot of bananas. Banana is high in potassium, so you are likely taking too much potassium, kind of messing with the balance of electrolytes in your body. That's what I mean by watching the food that affects electrolytes. So you want to eat in moderation. You want to be mindful of that. Another thing is antacids. Antacids are typically some type of mineral, like milk of magnesia, which is also used for constipation. Some people will take it for heartburn. And Alka-Seltzer, Tums, you want to be careful with that. You don't want to abuse those things anymore. So if you deal with heartburn, for instance, and you find yourself taking those things, you need to ask yourself, why am I having so much heartburn? You want to address the cause as opposed to just treating it. Okay, and it's definitely something you want to bring to your doctor's attention. But if you have some kidney disease, you want to watch that, because it complicates things very fast if you are doing too much of it. And last but not least, chill mode. Last but not least, the Nsaids. I'm sure many of you have heard. If not, well, now you know. Watch how much of those you take. That is ibuprofen, Aleve, Motrin, the Nsaids. You want to also, take that in limited quantity because they are hard on the kidneys of, a kidney that's not functioning at its peak. Okay, so those are some of the tips I wanted to give you today. um I've been asked before, well, I was just diagnosed with diabetes and they saw that I have some kidney issues also. Can that get better? Can that improve? This is my answer to you. Depending on how quickly it was found and what actions were taken, your kidney function can restore, because our body always tries to heal itself. So when you take away the things that are hurting it, and in this case we are talking about kidneys, when you take away the things that are hurting the kidneys and doing what you are supposed to do, what typically happens is that the function will be restored. It will restore depending on how bad the kidney functions were. So when things are caught in earlier stage, it's much easier to fix them as opposed to late stage or advanced stage. But even when caught in advanced stage, what you want to do is prevent it from getting even worse, right? And I'm thinking about dialysis. Um, if you don't want to do that, you don't want to get there. So this is when you want to be aggressive in doing the things you are supposed to do to help your kidneys, since we are talking about nephropathy. So that's the tip I want to give to you. And as always, I will say, like, do not get discouraged, do not freak out, do not panic. I share these informations with you to equip you, right? To help you take care of yourself, to help you do the right things. Because oftentimes, even when you go to the doctor sometimes and they will tell you things, most of us, and I'm one of them, most of us are like, stuff will fly over your head, especially if it's right after a news. You are still in the state of shock over the news, so you are not listening to what else is being told, what else is being said. And this is one of the things I love to do, like, educate and help folks really avoid all kind of complex health issues because they did not know. It's different than when you you don't have any choice. It is something that's unavoidable, that's different. But when it's preventable, I'm a big believer in giving you information so you can try to not get into that type of stage. So that's all I have for today. So I see Brandon. Well, do you guys have any questions for me? Is there any questions? I think one of the big questions I answered was, can I reverse kidney disease? So you can help your kidney restore depending on how bad the situation is and if you take the good measures. Oh, in parentheses, sometimes patient will ask, well, I don't have high blood pressure, but why was I put on this blood pressure medication? And it will be in a low dose. It is actually to protect your kidneys. That's the class, like, it will be okay, one of the name will be lisinopril, another name will be losartan. Those are two common one, but the medications of those class are actually to protect your kidneys if you are diabetic. Okay. So even if you don't have blood pressure issues, you might find yourself on a very little dose of that to help protect your kidneys, depending on what your doctor is also seeing. So that's that. I went over my time, but guys, if you don't have any questions, I will let you all go. And I hope this was helpful to you. Oh, is that I hope this was helpful to you. Okay, let me know, comments, put questions, I'll follow through. And I'll see you next week to finish the part 2 of food to minimize or avoid when you deal with arthritis or some type of inflammation. Have a good rest of the day, and you guys have a fantastic week. Be healthy. Bye.